Hello everyone, this is Alex from alexlancer.com, and in this part of our CodeIgniter 4 REST API server, I would like to show you how you can upload an image to our server. So, in the previous part, I think it was in second part where we created our CRUD operations, we have created a blog resource where we could create, update or delete our blog posts. So in this part I would like to add one more field to our blog that will be a featured image and see how we can upload this image and update it. So let's get started. Navigate to your phpMyAdmin, go to your REST API database that you have created, and let's go to our blog table. So in our blog table, until now we had post ID, post title, post description and post created add fields. So let's add a new field. Let's go to structure. Let's select after post description. And let's create post featured image field that will be a varchar of 255. Click save. So in this field we will store the name of the file that we want to associate with each post. Now let's go to our create method where we create our new post, and let's add a new validation rule for our file. For our example, let's say that our file name, meaning the HTML input name, will be featured image. So copy that, and because we will use it now in our rules, and let's give a first name, so the first rule. So instead of required, because we don't have any actual value in our HTTP request and the file is stored inside the file's global variable, we will have to use the required rule in a bit different way. So we say uploaded, and then we specify the name of the input field that we want to check. Then another rule we can use is, for example, let's check the size, let's limit the size of the uploaded file. So we say max size. Again, we say the name of the input, and let's say 1 megabyte. You specify that in kilobytes. And one last rule I'd like to show you. We can check whether the file is an image or not. So we can say is image, and again we specify our field name. Now we don't change nothing here in our fail situation, but we will add some extra functions before we specify our data that will be inserted in the database. So let's go here in the else statement where we pass our validation rule successfully, and let's first of all get the file. So let's say get the file, and let's say file equals this request get file and the field's name. Then we can check if the file is valid. That's what CodeIgniter documentation suggests us to do. So let's say if file is valid, Actually, if it's not valid, let's return this fail and get the fail string. So we say file get error string. If the file is valid though, we can say file and now move to the folder we want it to be moved. So in my example at least, it is assets and uploads. So move. If you will use this function as it is, the name of the file name that you have uploaded will stay the same. But if you want to change the name, you could simply specify the new name here, giving it a new name. But in our case, let's keep the file name as it is. So now in our data that we pass to our database, let's add one new value that we will call post featured image, and the file's name, we get the file's name by file get name. So that's it. Let's check if that works, and let's see how we can do it through Postman also to make the test. First of all, let's log in once so that we get a new access token that is not expired. Okay, that's not what I expected. I guess there is a different request that I had. Yeah, so it is HTTP localhost user login. In our authorization, we use our test client and our test secret for basic auth. Send, yes, and we get our access token. If you did not follow the first part of this tutorial, then you might not need even the access token, because our block resource is protected by authorization server. So let's copy our access token, go to our post request to HTTP localhost blog. We have title and description here specified. So let's say this will be post with image. Our description will be cool post with image. Don't forget to subscribe and like, of course, the image, it's what I mean. So, and here, first of all, if you have selected from the previous tutorial this option here, form URL encoded, change it to form data. Once you change it to form data, you can go now to your new field that you want to add and say featured image. You will have, now it doesn't give me this option. So wait, let me remove. Okay, uncheck it. And instead of text, select file. Check again. So now this field will be a file field. And you have this option to select a file. So let's select a file. Woman, I have this file here, woman in black. And let's see what happens. The access token provided is invalid. Yeah, because I think I didn't update it. So I go to authorization, I paste the access token that we got from our login form, login request, back to our body tab, and send request. So upload file mode Let me see, function create uploaded file mode. Didn't I change that to move? I've seen the typo. Okay, we didn't save the file, so save it. Let's try again. And as you can see, our response now is post title, post description, post featured image, womaninblack.jpg, and post ID 9. So let's see if the file was actually uploaded. Let's back to our project. As you can see, in our uploads folder, you have woman in black. So that's very nice. Now, in order to update our post, so now we have created it. That's fine. Let's go now to our update function. If you remember, to update a post, we were sending a put request instead of post request. So we did it like blog and ID 9. And the CodeIgniter routing that we used for our resource says that, based on the documentation, that whenever you use put request on your resource and you specify the controller's name and the ID, then CodeIgniter automatically will call the update method. The problem comes when you try to upload a file using a put request. First of all, I don't want the featured image to be a required field. Although whenever it is uploaded, we have to make our tests that to test if the file size is less than 1 megabyte and if the uploaded file is image. So how can we conditionally conditionally set up our validation rules? We will use one helper function from the array helper of CodeIgniter 4. Therefore, let's load this helper here. Let's say array, and we will say dot array search, and we want to search for featured image dot name inside of our global files variable. So if you don't know, whenever you upload an image to the server, whenever you upload generally files, not only images, so your files are stored inside of this global variable, and they look something like this array, let's say, where you have featured image, and then again you have an array that has name, some name, then it has a size, some general information. So what I want to check is if our featured image name is not equal, it is not empty, then we will consider that our file needs to be uploaded and we have to pass it through a validation. Otherwise, if it is empty, it means that the user didn't want to change the file. So let's remove this for now. And we say, let's give it a file name, the name of the variable. And let's say that if file name is not equal nothing, then let's say image, and we will specify the rule here inside this image variable. Again, let's take this string and go here to our image variable, and let's say featured image equals this set of rules. And now let's take our rules and array merge rules with our image array. And again, so again we have our validation here. If it fails, then we have this error. And in our else statement, let's see what we have here. So we have get raw input. Let's change our raw input because we will not use it. We will use post request. So whenever you have a file that you want to, if in your request you want to use a file, like upload it or update it, then I'd suggest you use a post request and not a put request. So let's go. We have to change our data. Instead of input, let's use this request get var title, and same goes here for the description. And now we will check again if we have our file name that is not empty. Let's get actually where we have our file move. Show, not update. Let's go to our create method. Let's take this part. So if our file name is not empty, we paste this here and we say the data post featured image equals file get name. And now save. We run the save method as we ran it before and return respond. So let's see. So before we were using a put method and it works fine up until you try to upload an image. So if you try to upload an image, use post request, but change your URL to the exact method. So we will specify update. It will be blog update and then the ID. So if instead of woman in black, let's check also our database if we got our woman in black there inside. Oh, no, we did not. It has to do with our model. We also have to specify post featured image inside of our allowed fields. So we go to our model, blog model, and let's add it here. So now if we go and create, let's remove our print R, blog, remove this. Okay, woman black 2. So as you can see, if there is a file name inside your folder that already exists, CodeIgniter automatically adds a tail to it with a number. And let's check our database again. Yeah, as you can see now, woman black is uploaded and stored in our database. So let's change our URL to update and the ID is 11. Let's update our post 11 and let's give it another image, let's say image 1. So the post has been updated. Let's see if the file is uploaded. Yes, image 1 is uploaded. Let's test our database. So the image here also has been updated. And now one last test that we have to do is, let's try to update the post without touching our image. So I will uncheck this box. I will say that this is post image 3 and description change to 3. Send, and as you can see, everything is updated, but the image stays exactly the same. Also, if we test in our database, it should stay the same, although the post with image is now 3. So that's it, guys, for uploading an image to your server. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video.